take projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking On Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, how you doing, man?
Man, it is a good Sunday night. We're moving on to the Sweet 16. Can't ask for too much more right now.
That it is a good weekend of basketball for Tide fans.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I didn't see how. I imagine did the ladies lose to Texas?
Yeah, they lost by 12. It was a good effort, though. I mean, they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, being that it was in Austin, going up against the one seed, they hung around. They put up a good effort. I was proud of them. We just for them, I think it's just about finding people, get more athletes, more scorers to get to that next level. Because I mean, we're a good team, but to move to that next level, the LSU's and South Carolinas, we just not to that championship level yet. So we'll see what they do.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah. Just not quite like you said on that level, but a program that's making strides.
man,
Um,
very much so. I mean, this was the first. I mean, when we were in school, the women's team was terrible. They had a good couple of years in the late '90s, but I mean, for the most part, there's not a lot of history there. Just but two of the last 3 years in the round of 32. I mean, there have three 21 seasons, different level. Not very many times has Alabama been there, at least since the late '90s. So I mean, they're come a long way in a short time. So proud of them.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Going back to the guys' side, of course, the win over Charleston Friday night, great, another 100-point game. Just
Hmm.
came out hot, just
Yeah,
team on fire. Defensive effort lapsed a little bit. Toward
yeah,
the
but
end, it was
towards the end,
actually we had
but
about what like a 30-point lead at one point, and then
yeah,
just the last
kind
few
of.
minutes.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
But, that effort was there though when we needed it the most. They were hot from the
Hmm.
start. They wanted,
Hmm.
just what you wanted to see from this team. I mean, we knew it was there the whole time. It's just a matter, can they put it together? Um, you
Hmm.
know, not the way we would have liked to have ended the season. I mean, March up until this tournament run has been kind of ugly for us. I mean, hasn't been. The SEC tournament was quick out. Florida, big, lost two times in basically 2 weeks, and then
Hmm.
you know what, Coach Oates is wondering where the effort is, and going into this deep into March, you're like, man, should we be asking those type of questions? So I mean, there was I was like, man, either Alabama's gonna lose that first game or they're gonna move on to the Sweet 16, and got the latter of the two, which of course we knew we had the opportunity to do. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that team. It's just a matter of the will to want to do that. And they've turned on a different switch. Seems like they're playing with uh, different passion that may have not been there, especially on the road and the neutral site games, hadn't been there much at all. But I mean, they really were a different looking team as far as that effort level in Spokane this weekend.
Yeah, and a gritty win today. We're recording this Sunday night, so not too long after the final whistle. I had to listen to the second half on the road on the radio, and I can tell you, Chris Stewart not a fan of the referee's performance, um, and but it sounded like I'll let you take over in a second here, but it sounded like we played a really gritty performance. They did their best to take us off our game. The foul calls were not going in our favor at all. We went through a slump in the second half, came out cold shooting, and turned the ball over a lot. But they even took the lead, came back from down 10, and then we turned it right around. Thanks to our boy Diabate, just sounded like he was the linchpin for the
He
comeback. Really, yeah.
right.
Speak on it.
He really was the closer. I mean, the first half, yeah. I mean, it was just a dogfight throughout. I mean, very physical game. I mean, the refs left a lot of Um, a lot of calls on the court there. You like to see it at times, but it didn't seem to be favoring us when they did make the calls. We lost Latrell Reitzel to a head injury there towards the end of the first half. Looks like he should be healthy for Carolina, according to reports now. But man, you lose a guy like that in that situation in a big time game. It's like, man, but people stepped up. Like you said, Mo Diabate in that second half. I mean, we had so many people in foul trouble. I mean, Grant Nelson was in foul trouble. Uh, it's the same old, same old. Our big guys, they're physical, but they get in foul trouble, and we got no help, no help from the refs at all with that. But Mo Diabate, big free throws, some big time rebounds. And then of course our boy Mark Sears, some excellent passes. I mean, one of the shorter guys on the court, gritty, 10 boards. I mean, that's he was like, man, I'm not ready to go home. I'm not, it could
Mm-mm.
very well have been his last game. I mean, he has that opportunity to come back, but I mean, the season he's had, probably this is, his last run, so he wasn't gonna let it go there. And just all our effort was phenomenal. And you know, when we weren't getting calls, they were frustrated, but they didn't let it change their game. Their effort was phenomenal. They just kept going, and things started going our way. We get some of the loose balls. And that's the thing when you're playing with a lot of effort. Good things come your way, and I think that's what we saw today, and what Coach Oates has been preaching all year. If we could just get a good defensive effort, guys wanting to be out there, wanting to play, things are going to fall our way. And we got that late in the second half. So
Mm-hmm.
happy to where we're at there. And at this point now, second Sweet 16 in a row. I mean, it's been since what 90, I think 90, 91 that we've done that. So I mean, so we were very little kids. I mean, we not too many memories. We got to the one amazing Elite Eight run, but when we were in school. But I mean, this is, new grounds for a lot of Alabama basketball fans. Two Sweet 16s in a row is, phenomenal. It's
And
amazing.
what, 3, 4 in the past 5 years now, right?
Yeah, we've been to four straight NCAA tournaments.
Yeah,
I
three
mean,
Sweet 16s. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just amazing what we're doing right now.
Hmm. Yeah, and we've talked about it often at school with our resources. Now that we finally got the right coach in there,
I mean, this is
uh,
what we should.
exactly. We should expect to be a
Yeah,
second weekend team.
sure.
Um, and so it's great to see it. It's great to see the young guys step up. We hope that Reitzel is okay and can come back. I did see that. That was a nasty
Yeah,
uh,
and
hit he
just
took to a. Mhm.
amount of time he had off there after that
Yeah.
last practice or whatever. But the Charlie Potter, I did see he said that he should be good to go for Thursday off the on three sites posts after the game. So hopefully that's a good thing. But
Hmm.
we'll need everything against a very very good Carolina team. Uh, Thursday in LA. But man, for the rest of the season, I mean, we're playing with house money. I mean, more than likely, we're playing Carolina, the number one seed. If we were to pull that a miracle, I mean, at that point, we're probably playing Arizona. So, I
Hmm.
mean, at this point, I mean, we're just, anything above what we've done is sweet. We'd love to see it, but I mean, expectations are, we're playing with house money, and it's been. We'll just see what comes. But I will say, if we play with that same effort and intensity that we did this past weekend, I mean, whether we win or lose, Carolina's going to know that they they had a battle.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the big thing, really, right? It's bring we got to bring the fight to them. Don't be afraid, don't be intimidated, which I don't think we will be. That's not our mo.
I mean, we've played good teams there. And maybe all those, all that tough work and you know uh, big games in December. Maybe that's all coming to what we needed for right now. Uh,
Hmm.
We're just playing on a level that's, we maybe would have liked to have seen earlier there, especially on the road in the neutral situations. But hey, it's a perfect time to be doing it now. So I mean, March is where you live and die in college basketball. So I mean, we're doing what we need to do at the right time, and it's just fun. It's a fun. It's been a fun weekend.
Yeah, for sure. So how's your bracket doing?
Oh boy, I honestly, I don't know if I've ever had a worse bracket in my life. Like, doing even like a family bracket with the wife and kids, and let's just say I'm sitting in the basement. Yeah, even my 9 year old's staring at me right now. Thanks, Kentucky, because yeah, I mean, I don't know, I maybe I shouldn't have. I mean, but I really thought, that this was a special Kentucky team that could make a run. I have honestly, I've been in the Final Four, beating Houston out the
Oh,
South.
did you? Oh,
I did.
I I had him in my 8, and that was my first loss. I'm like, all right, you can lose a team or two from
Yeah,
your 8, and you come back, and I still got all my Final Four teams for now.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just like all these upsets. I didn't pick the right upsets. Like
yeah. That's the thing. I didn't pick the right.
uh-huh,
Uh,
yeah,
I was big on New Mexico coming in. They laid
mm-hmm.
an egg against Clemson. And those five, the 5-12s. I mean, I didn't. Well, I did get the the Wisconsin one. I did get that, but those other three I was off. Uh, didn't pick the right ones. Yeah. Um, it's just an ugly bracket, but hey, man, that's the beauty of March Madness. I mean, the little guys step up in big games there. I mean, just what a story for Oakland. They didn't win. They didn't beat NC State, but I mean, that was just epic. Just
Mm-hmm.
two performances in a row from a guy who was basically, a Division II guy, a Uber driver, trying to make money on the weekends, and but there's time when he's not on the quarter in class, and now he's the hero of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, just with his effort.
Mm-hmm.
Big 30 on Kentucky. I mean, 4 or 5 guys are definitely going pro. Lottery picks.
Right. The funniest tweet I saw about it was like, it's not your day, or what is it? It's like you're gonna have a bad time in March when it's a future financial investors raining threes on you. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, just epic.
mhm,
Kills your bracket, but man, sometimes who cares? At some point, it's just, it's
mhm.
just there. Um, and it'd be interesting to see, with that, what Kentucky does with Calipari, because I mean, you have to think that end is coming sooner than later.
There is certainly a section of Kentucky fans that want it to happen now. His buyout's like 30 some million. Of course, we know
I
SEC schools will
find
get that
it.
done.
I bet you if they if they don't have it together, I'm sure they could easily get it because yeah,
Hmm.
that marriage on both
It's
both ends is really
strained. Yeah.
because I mean he's come to the point where he's basically like after they win games throughout the season, like see. I've been telling you guys, and then when they lose game, he wouldn't even come to like that little fan. I guess he does a call-in show after games and wouldn't even show up to after losses. And so I mean, what was a it was a good run, I'd say for the most part. But I think it's kind of a marriage that had its good moments, but it's come to an end. So it'll be interesting to see what Kentucky does.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a big program. I mean, it's not for everybody. I mean, so it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Uh, yeah. I think my thing was well, first of all, to finish up that Coach Cal talk, definitely happy that we extended Oates a couple weeks ago
Oh
now.
boy, because yeah,
Huge.
you and I.
because if that job comes open, that that's one of those tempting jobs that if you're a basketball coach, that's
That's one
it's
of your
hard to say
dream jobs.
no. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
those Duke, Carolina, Kentucky. I mean, it's those
Mm-hmm.
top of the world dream, once in a lifetime opportunities. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's hard to say. Yeah, like you said, it's hard to say no.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it's like Kalen DeBoer coming to us. It's one of those.
yeah,
If Alabama offers you a job and you're a college football coach,
I
you
mean, it's
have to
hard
say
to say
yes.
no.
If
Mhm.
so, hopefully
Yeah,
that's enough money. Hopefully, there's been some promises of new facilities and a new arena coming up soon.
right.
Um,
But I will
so,
say, one beauty of
mhm.
where we're at with college basketball is, I mean, as we've seen Nate Oates, he can recruit almost at the same level at Alabama now, with
Mhm.
NIL and other things. At one point
Absolutely.
it was you couldn't get the guys, that Kentucky could get. Now you can. So, I mean, the playing field's a little more even. And Alabama, I mean, you can make a run in Tuscaloosa just the same as you can in Lexington. I mean, it may not be as often. And of course, you don't have the storied history. But I mean, it's changed a little bit. And then also, you got to look at it too. Two Sweet 16s and 3 and 4 years in Tuscaloosa. I mean, you're a legend.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
In Lexington, you're just another guy who didn't make a Final Four or win a
Mhm.
national title. I mean, it's just a different. It's kind of us in football. I mean, it's kind of like how we are in football. If anything less than a national title isn't considered a good year at this point where we're at.
Mhm.
So they're kind of at that level. I mean, we're going to be much more appreciative of what we're able to do when we find success because honestly, it's been up and down. We've had it at times. We've had some good runs throughout our history, and we have a basketball history, but of course, we'll never probably be as rich as, of course, what has been in Lexington's.
Mhm.
But hey, I think
Uh,
we're safe for Nate Stan.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he might not want to. Yeah. Exactly. Like you said, he's on the verge of get us to the Final Four, and there's a statue of you built somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Go to Kentucky, and if you don't make the Final Four, you're already on that seat's getting hot already.
right, exactly.
Um, but yeah, yeah. Going back to the brackets, same thing. Mine's just kept getting. It was great after the first day. I think I only got like one or two games wrong the first
Yeah,
day, and it's just like I said, missing like the 8-9 matchups, picking the wrong guy, or a lot. What happened to me this year is I'll get the first round upset. Like I got James Madison, I got
yeah,
Colorado over
yeah.
Florida, I
That,
got another one somewhere down Oregon, but I had all three of them actually going to the Sweet 16, and
mm,
none of them panned out for me.
yeah.
Oregon, that game pissed me off. I was cussing at the TV last night,
Oh
like
wow, that was
they were
wow.
they had every chance to win that game and just did not want to win it.
Mhm.
They just
And
gave
then
it to Creighton, and then that second overtime, they just were
they,
gassed.
yeah, they were done.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that I definitely lost some sweet six. Like for example, I thought Drake might make that run. I thought, I had them beating Iowa State.
Hmm.
um, but they had a tough loss to Washington State that threw me off, and I had NC State going. I'm not in. Sorry, New Mexico going to the Sweet 16. I have them beating Baylor today. Of course, Baylor did lose to Clemson, but I mean, Clemson won a team that I really thought was that they weren't very impressed at the end of the season.
Uh-uh.
So, and I
And they
mean, but shout out, I guess, to the other than Virginia. I mean, the ACC has handled business. I mean, of course,
hmm
Carolina's in the Sweet 16, Duke's in the Sweet 16, NC State's in the Sweet 16, Clemson's
hmm
in the Sweet 16. For a conference, and it hasn't been what we're accustomed to them being as far as the ones that are there. They've held their own.
hmm
They've really done their thing, and then of course. SEC, boy, it's been a
Ooh.
tough, tough.
Greg Sankey is just getting clowned on
Yeah,
online because of
yeah,
his, comments early this or last week. I guess I think I even mentioned it. He had
yeah,
talked about, They didn't foresee change, but it's worth looking into an all Power Five tournament or taking away automatic bids or something. And he's
Yeah,
just getting clowned this week because, yeah,
or
like you said, the SEC's performance has been terrible
what?
outside of so far Alabama, really.
Yeah, Tennessee.
Te- yeah, and Tennessee, of course. Yeah, Texas A&M, they're at
They're doing
arm's
quite
reach. Yeah, they're down 8 to Houston as we record right now. So they need to make a run, but under
right.
10 minutes to go here. But yeah, Auburn. We mentioned it was a good
Mm,
weekend for Alabama fans. Auburn lost to Yale. Was it Friday night as well?
yeah. Right before our game, which was even made it even
Yeah,
sweeter. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
and
know,
old Charles Barkley's comments. Yeah,
yeah, about being, the Alabama UAB and all the fans should come together. Come on, man, no
nah,
way.
yeah, no. Like
The
maybe
food,
UAB, you might be like, yeah, sure,
UAB,
go ahead. Yeah,
why not? I mean, we not a true rivalry.
uh-uh.
I
But yeah, I'm
mean,
not cheering for Auburn. I don't care. It's the
no,
same thing when people chant SEC at games. I look at them like they're idiots. I'm like, I don't care. If it were possible, I'd want every other SEC team to go 0-12 in football every year. Why? Because they're my rivals. I hate them, all of them. Like,
and now the only thing that I do see why people do that
mhm,
is it's weird. Like when we were in Alabama, we never wanted Florida to win. When they played, we're like playing with Ohio State in a national title game and stuff. I mean, I wanted
mhm.
Ohio State. I mean, Florida blew them out. But then when I moved to Nebraska, you realize, man, people really don't like the SEC at all. And when you're in the SEC and you live SEC every day, I mean, that's what you think about. But man, Midwest folks really hate SEC everything. So and so I see like why you would why people do that. Say SEC, SEC. I mean, I think it's more of a trolling thing than anything. And of course, we get it back with they don't guard, the SEC's way there. But I mean, I understand it, and because man, they really don't like. Because I remember when I first moved here, where it was like I moved to Omaha area like November, so it was right before it was a national championship where LSU beat Ohio State.
Okay.
Um, but man, people were like, man, and then I get when in Alabama stuff, people be like, man, LSU's gonna lose, and I was like, bro, I don't give a damn about LSU. Like, I hope they do too. But then I was like, that's really weird. Like, it's just weird. There's such a disdain for the SEC in all sports and other areas of the country. You know,
hmm
I, you know, you, but I don't know. It's like the SEC is a dysfunctional family, but sometimes you come together and you hope. Like for example, if it's not my exact rivalry, like if it's Arkansas, or South Carolina, teams like that, I have no problem
hmm
with them winning. But when it comes to those rivals, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, probably I want them. I don't care what their season's looking like, or if they're the only team left in the from the SEC, lose.
Yeah, I don't want to win. Yeah, I don't. Like Barkley said, I don't have state pride necessarily. Like that's one of those things that comes up every so
Mm,
often. Like, oh well, the whole state should root for
no,
blah 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 in the title game. I'm like, no, I don't.
and,
That's not good
and
for. My dad used to say
and
stuff like that. It's good for the state. I'm like, I don't know. No, it's
I,
not. Auburn
I,
winning a title isn't good for us.
no, it's not. And I hope no Auburn fans cheer for us just the same. And they,
Yeah,
they're going for, they rolled their trees after we lost to Michigan. And that's the rivalry.
uh huh, yeah.
I love it.
We laugh when they lose to Yale. Yeah, that's a rivalry. All
Yep.
this your team you thought was going to go to the Final Four, your SEC tournament champion, you lost to an Ivy League team.
Yeah.
Uh,
True accountants.
yeah,
And probably,
yeah, your bosses in a few years.
yeah, exactly. So
Um,
that's
but yeah,
good.
going back to that larger narrative, yeah, this is even though as we're looking now, barring Yale, who's right now they're kind of getting beat up by San Diego State.
Yeah.
If they don't make a comeback, we're only going to have one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. That's
That's
NC State.
and it's not a
Um,
small hand. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
mean, this is the year where we're gonna have all big name. Despite some of the weirdness that's happening, yeah, we're gonna have a lot
Hmm.
of big names in there. I mean,
Hmm. You got, let's see. So San Diego State, they make it. They're 5 seed from the Mountain West.
no San
Um,
Diego State. I mean, it's not a
yeah,
new out of nowhere
yeah,
program.
they're not new. Gonzaga's from a small conference, but they're Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Um, Creighton's a Big East team,
yeah,
and also they're an established program at this
all
point.
right. People know who
Um,
Creighton is. I mean,
but
there's
a lot of first round upsets. So
yeah, a lot of
you know,
crazy.
a team like Grand Canyon, gave us all they could give us.
They gave it a run. I mean, shout
We
out to
meant.
them beating St. Mary's. I mean, a lot of
Hmm.
people thought St. Mary's might go to the Sweet 16. And a lot of people said, "Oh, Alabama's going to lose to St. Mary's." Didn't even get to get to the opportunity to play them.
Hmm.
And then some other team for Gonzaga. I mean, honestly, I was big. I jumped on the McNeese State bandwagon because they came in so hot. What's the name? Despite some shady stuff at LSU, I mean, he's won. He wins.
Yeah, Will Wade. Yeah.
Wins. He had LSU playing great basketball before he got fired. He has McNeese State playing good, and this is probably one of the more regular Gonzaga teams in a while. So I mean, I thought that might be an opportunity, and boy, I was wrong with that one. Some of them
I,
5-12 that look good didn't end up being as good.
That's one I got. However, their second round opponent, Kansas, I did have them losing to Samford, and maybe that
See,
should have happened because we talk about
I,
referees in a Bama game. Oof,
boy, that was tough.
a
Maybe they
tough
don't win.
miscall.
Maybe they
Mhm.
don't win still, but man, you would have loved to see that what they do with that possession after that block.
Yeah, yeah. They didn't steal a win from them per se because they still had to go make that shot. But
Right,
that
it's
was
a whole
as
different
clean
atmosphere.
as a chase down block as you will ever see.
Beautiful
And
defense.
because the
I mean,
guy just happened to fall on his landing is when they called
yeah.
the foul, and it's not a foul, and that's just
Oh man, I
from.
felt so bad for Sanford because man, I
Mhm.
mean, they overcame with a huge deficit there. It seemed like Kansas was going to run away
Mhm.
with it for a second, and they just put up a great effort, came all the way back, and you just hate to see, you just want to see them, but they're going to lose. Just let it play out. You hate to see that the refs very
Mhm.
much changed just the whole atmosphere at that point. They kind of deflated the team, won the same after that. Like you hate to see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's a horrible way. But we've talked for a while now. It's been everybody's known the refing in the college game is a problem. Um,
Yeah, too many
and
times
and
changed
and
the
it
whole.
uh, and not just in ways like that, bad calls. It's foul discrepancies. We look at
Mm,
today. We drove to the rim a heck of a lot more than Grand Canyon, maybe twice as much, but they got a couple times more fouls called on
yeah,
us than them, and
yeah. The free throw
maybe.
discrepancy is crazy.
Or you look at a team like Purdue and Zach Edey, where like it's Purdue on the regular has like 20 more
Point.
free throw attempts than their opponents, and
Mm-hmm.
that can't be right.
No,
Uh,
not
that's not accurate refereeing, and so something's got to change about that. And you need as many reviews as they do over tipped balls going out of bounds and looking at the clock and was
overturn.
that a flagrant, and
They can
you tell
overturn calls. I mean,
yeah,
they
you
should.
telling me you can't have a referee that sits on the sideline, looking at that maybe takes a look at that video real quick after they blow that play dead on the foul and goes, actually, guys, you might want to look at this. That was clean,
Yeah,
and
Something
they could
gotta-
look at it and they could go, oh, you're right, that's no foul, that's our bad. Clocks at whatever time this is, and it's going to be Sanford ball because they got possession after that block.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Something's got to change.
yeah, that's
Because I mean, if there's anything that needs to change in the game, it's definitely that. I mean, there's too much technology and there's too much at stake for such mistakes. I mean, There's gonna be mistakes at times, and if it's a judgment call, if two guys, if it's off somebody, and if it's split second, but man, to have something that egregious in the NCAA tournament, phew, it's
Yeah.
just terrible. I don't care who it would have happened to, honestly, in that situation. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah. If it been the other way around, Samford was winning and Kansas got screwed. That's still bad. You don't want that in the game. You want,
I mean, of course, we
uh,
probably a little more funny because I
yeah,
mean, just
yeah, yeah.
um, but yeah, you would still be like, what the heck? But
But yeah, so we get close to our Sweet 16 here. Like I said, we got two games going right now. Houston with a 9 point lead over, 8 point lead over A&M with under 5 minutes left, and San Diego
the,
State beating up Yale. They're up about 20 right now.
the thing, the way they Houston plays defense and the way they've shut down that that explosive, that game against
Uh,
Nebraska, Texas A&M had everything going. I mean,
mm-hmm.
we'll wait the fourth, been just huge game. But yeah,
Yeah, Nebraska still without a tournament win.
that's crazy. Yeah, and they got throttled.
Mm-hmm.
But
Trying to
yeah,
get there.
but the way Houston plays, I mean, when you're down 9 to Houston with under 5 minutes or 8 right now, it's a tough.
Yeah,
Just the way. I mean,
yeah. They have to go completely cold for you, and you have to make a lot of tough shots, fight for some offensive rebounds.
they're just
Yeah,
a tough.
yeah. They play tough basketball, but yeah, Sweet 16 overall. So we're looking. Um, we'll have all of our number one seeds in it. We will have all of our two seeds in it. And it looks like what we got one, two of the three seeds. So the couple of the three seeds went down. Of course, Kentucky and then Clemson beating Baylor.
Yep.
But you got 4 seed Alabama and you got 5 seed Gonzaga in it. You got um, looking like 5 seed San Diego State's going to be in it. 4 seed Duke in it. Speaking of beating up on the low guy, James Madison did get that win
Boy,
over Wisconsin, but ooh, Duke nearly a 40 point
I,
win over the
I was
they
kind of
yeah.
the team that has and we talked about it last week. A lot of talent, but
Hmm.
you don't know if they are. You don't know what Duke's gonna bring game to game.
Hmm.
But we saw. I mean, that team that came out today. I mean, they could win a national title.
Yeah.
Uh, but we don't know if we're gonna. You don't know if you'll see that again. I mean,
Mm-mm.
and that was just a crazy performance. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I expected them to win today, but just at that level, whew, crazy.
Yeah.
But
So
all
yeah,
the lot
some
of games. So I mean, the lack of ratings from last year definitely won't be the same this year for sure.
no, I believe they've already came out and said it was like some of the most watched days of the tournaments ever. But yeah, we got some interesting matchups. If Houston holds serve here, Houston and Duke's an interesting one. Defending champ UConn, a rematch of the title game last year, UConn San Diego State.
Yeah,
Um,
you got the Illinois.
Iowa
Um,
State, that's an
that's an
interesting one.
interesting game.
Um,
Um,
big man, Zach Edey and Purdue against Gonzaga. That'll be a slow one. Let's be honest. That's gonna be a
then we have Creighton, Tennessee.
that'll be a good one.
That
Um,
I mean the way that both teams can score. I mean, whew, can be a high scoring game there. Um,
hmm. Yeah, but yeah. Anything you wanna add on the men's side here? Looking at next weekend.
I'm just happy that we're still around, and I think we're in for uh, you know, all the big names are there. So I mean, a lot of big names. So it's gonna be a fun run, and should be a fun Final Four. I mean,
Hmm.
so I mean, March Madness has lived up to its yearly hype once again.
And it looks like our time has been set. I think we will be at 8:39. I think that's Central Time on a
Thursday night.
Thursday. Which is that's one of the reasons I don't like the bubble system the way they set it up now because that gives Carolina an extra day of rest
Mm-hmm.
um, over
Is
us.
that
And, it used to be you had two first round sites per region.
yeah?
And, the top half of that bracket would be at one and the bottom half the other, and then you'd have the regional site. And they went to that bubble system and the idea was so all the teams could try to play a little bit closer home, reduce travel. Well, three teams from Alabama played in Spokane,
Well,
Washington.
how
So
does that?
yeah, it seems like we need to axe that. If you want to do that, then go to what the women's side does, and where they have it at the home of the
I,
high seed. Yeah, so that's how you reduce travel. But
yeah,
I don't know. But
it
yeah,
is weird.
so
Yeah, it's definitely weird seeing that. I mean,
mhm,
it's seeing three Alabama teams in Spokane. It's like what the
mhm.
heck? I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's just,
weird. But yeah, R.J. Davis and what's his name, Baycott. A tall task, but good inside outside game.
it is. And we're gonna have to play an elite game in Carolina, but man, we're playing with
Hmm.
a lot of playing with house money though. I mean, the expectations
Hmm.
we got to where we expected to be, and now it's just can the madness continue?
Yeah,
So
exactly. Extend the tournament, survive in advance. The name of the game. Um, but yeah, looking on the women's side real quick. Am I right in looking? Are you winning? Are you close to the top in the challenge the stare downs group?
believe so. I
Oh,
am.
look
I'm
at you.
doing okay on the women's side. The women's bracket hasn't been as terrible to me. We've had a couple of upsets. I mean, Ohio State took a loss today, but
I actually
I mean,
had that one. Psst.
Ohio State took a loss today, and then what was the big loss? Oh, what was the other one? Oh, Louisville losing to that
Mhm.
Middle Tennessee State team who lost to LSU today. But some not too many upsets for the most part. Everything's kind of gone as
Mhm.
planned. So
As
I
it
mean,
usually does, yeah, in
as
the
yes, I
women's
mean,
side. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, and with
No.
on the women, I mean, that's gonna be another. Next weekend is gonna be epic on the women's side. I mean, very well could
Mhm.
get that LSU Iowa rematch that people have been hoping to
Mhm.
see. For an opportunity to go to the Final Four, very possibly could be. Of course, South Carolina absolutely destroyed North Carolina.
Ooh, did they? Oof. Doubled them up and then some.
Yeah, um,
47-point victory.
they're just on a
Yeah.
different. They're on a revenge tour like no other after last
Mhm.
year's you know upset loss to Iowa. I mean, I wouldn't want to
Mhm.
play them. I mean,
No,
they're just
yeah.
just playing with a different level and have all the motivation to blow everybody out after how things ended last season. So I
Mhm.
mean, they're gonna overlook anybody or and think any different. Hey, they have the perfect coach. Don Staley's not gonna let them overlook anybody. So I mean,
Mm-mm.
honestly, I'd be shocked if they don't win the title this year. I mean, there's some
Yeah.
other good teams and a lot of talent, but I mean, just with their mindset and yeah, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I was doing good. Same thing. I was like doing great after the first day, and then about like halfway through the second day, like all my picks started going down. I'd look at my phone, and a bunch of my teams were leading. Like I had Florida Gulf Coast over Oklahoma, and they were winning most of that game. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
I checked the final score, and they'd lost. I had um, there's another one I had somewhere, like maybe Princeton over West Virginia, or a
yeah,
couple of those first round upsets. Michigan over Kansas, not really an upset, but the 8-9 game, and Michigan was winning for a while on that, and then Kansas pulled away, and
and Yeah.
I'm just like, wait a minute now, what the hell, y'all?
Yeah.
My worst pick was, like I said, I know that the women's game's usually chalk, so that's pretty much where I go with it. But I was like, let me pick Marshall over Virginia Tech, and then oof, that was not a close one. I did have the Duke win over Ohio State today.
Did you?
Um,
Nice.
yeah, but
Had that one.
yeah, we'll see right now. Of course, that bracket challenge group presented by the Stare Down, Mal over there. But yeah, right now, old Greg in first, Mal in second. Uh, so we'll see how that goes over on our side.
Yeah,
You
man.
taking on sports? Yeah, I'm not.
You see, if you were if you look at the very bottom, you'll probably see my name like
uh,
20
for
some
for a
percent right.
while, it was old Caleb Johnson. He is next to last now. Yeah, there you are. You're fourth from last. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm right. I'm right in the middle of the pack. That's not good. Somebody at T Perk 31 is
Huh.
apparently
Yeah.
our leader right now. Don't know who that is, but sir, you might be on your way to a wing. Oh,
Like,
there's old Mal. She's second place right there. She is doing great in
second.
both.
Man, maybe I should
Um,
have talked with her before I made my bracket picks.
yeah, right.
We should have had her on the
Uh,
show. Hey man,
yeah.
what?
Oh, now we
That
know for
was
next year.
much better
Uh,
idea.
l- yeah, looking at it, no one has lost a champ yet, though.
No, no chance.
So that's good
Uh,
for
good
your
to-
bracket. But yeah, other than that, I'm like, I don't really think I have
no.
a lot of hope here. Let's see if I sort it by max. It helps me go up a little
'Cause
bit.
I think I had a Kentucky UConn national title game.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I knew I didn't have that. I got Arizona over Houston. I think I got Arizona winning it and the home state.
Right.
Yeah. Then I
Yeah,
had
I got that.
UConn.
I had beating Arizona in the semis.
Mm. I have the other way. Yeah, I got Arizona over UConn and then Houston beating Tennessee. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, the other big story from the women's game this weekend is LSU coach Kim Mulkey just going on these weird rants about an alleged Washington Post story that hasn't even come out yet. She's already denied it and
And such a
said it.
two of it. Oh,
Yeah, said it was the reporter is a vile person and blah blah
right.
blah and this and all that and it's honestly not a good look when you deny something and call names that hard before it's even come out. It
Right.
kind of makes you look like it's guilty already.
Yeah, because it's like we didn't even know. Like,
Yeah, and like there's some people are like, yeah, she's not a great person, she might be this or that, but like nothing, there's nothing ever
nothing.
concrete to come out.
I
Just
mean,
some.
she's a different personality. I mean, she's one of
Hmm.
the coaches you either love or you hate, depending on what side of it. I mean, she's definitely
Yeah.
uh, a you know a loud person. So I mean, you either love her or
Hmm.
you hate her. I mean, I don't think it's too much in between. But she wins, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bad person necessarily. I mean,
Yeah, like again, we don't have any evidence,
yeah,
but apparently, maybe we'll see some this week.
yeah. So who knows? But this whole LSU season has been been a soap opera. It's
Hmm.
been one thing after another. Team people leaving the team. Whether people like Angel Reese or not, and I don't know. How much of it's media driven and how much of it is the truth. But they're a team you watch whether you love them or you hate them because they're gonna give you entertainment regardless. So
Hmm. But yeah, going on, like I said, of course, all the big names still there. Iowa, Caitlin Clark, they play their second round game tomorrow night. South Carolina through. We mentioned their big blowout. LSU's through to the Sweet 16. Of course, you mentioned them beating Middle Tennessee State. Yeah, yeah, up and down day for the Louisville fans, they got to enjoy that Kentucky loss on the men's side, but then their women's team, who's
Tough
carrying the
luck.
weight for the program right now, they
Yeah.
were, I think, were they the
Okay.
only? Was that the only double digit win of the first round? It was. Oof.
Yeah, the first round. 'Cause-
Yeah.
Well, Duke, I think was Duke a
No,
10,
Duke's a 7.
7. Yeah,
Yeah, I got the bracket pulled up right now. Yeah, that was literally the only
yeah.
double digit upset you had. Actually, I don't even know if there was an 8-9. No, there wasn't even an 8-9 upset. Technically, it was all
Uh,
chalk on the women's
This
side.
this the state of college basketball in the state of Kentucky right now is bad.
Hmm.
Like it's just
Yeah.
tough. Where you have what's happening in Kentucky. All the Kentucky teams are out on the men's side.
Hmm.
Louisville. Very good program on the women's side. I mean, I think a lot of people would love to see the LSU Louisville game because, of course, the transfer that went to LSU from last year's team.
Hmm.
There's always fun of that drama for stuff like that. But man, yeah, it's been a tough week for Kentucky college basketball. The
Hmm.
whole state. It's a tough week there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
the women's team most of the time is usually m- much more friendly as far as picking your teams. lot,
hmm.
lot less craziness. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the things on my men's bracket. One of my friends from Louisville, she got on me. I made, I think, a comment about having UK in the 8, and she's like, better than to trust Kentucky at this point. Come on, man. And I was just
yeah,
like,
um,
you kind of right. I just thought so much talent. I was like, what, this might be it. I thought they'd make a little run,
you
but
just have to think that that they've had so many weird losses as of late that eventually they're just gonna put it together. I mean, there's too
mm-hmm.
much talent for the same thing to keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago was the crazy loss to I can't even think who they lost to. Who went
St. Peter's, was that it?
who went on that crazy who ended up going to the Elite Eight. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the last team, the guy. But I mean, and then last year, I mean, they lost to Kansas State. I mean, Kansas State had a fun run last year, but man, when you're Kentucky and you just keep losing to these type of teams, and then this year to lose to Oakland, I mean, they've only got out the first round with like once in the last 4 or 5 years or something. It's not
Yeah, it's bad.
that
Uh,
pretty. I mean,
like
this,
we said, and part of an overall just a bad first round for the SEC. You had
yeah.
uh,
I mean,
Kentucky
some
losing to
were
Oakland.
kind
You had
of
South Carolina getting upset by Oregon. You had
saw that coming. Like South
yeah.
Carolina didn't end the season well, and
Mm-mm.
Oregon's a very athletic team. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have length. They're well coached. I mean,
Yeah, and then that who's that? Cuisinart, that dude stud. He scored 72 points in
yeah,
2 games.
yeah. So I mean, I
Um,
saw that one coming. I mean, other SEC games. I mean, you know, Mississippi State. I mean, it was just Tom Izzo. I mean, not that Michigan State had done anything amazing, or maybe it shouldn't even been in the tournament, honestly, other than it's Michigan State and Tom Izzo. But it's hard to pick against Tom Izzo, especially in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
no, and that's another mistake I made. I actually had them upsetting North Carolina today, but then they kind of gave, or yesterday, they gave them a little bit of
They gave them a good
a
run. I mean,
game for a
'cause,
minute, but
yeah,
yeah.
North Carolina go on that crazy run. I mean,
Mm.
they were went on like a 23-8 run or something that ended up
Yeah.
kind of switch the game around. But
But yeah, the Auburn loss. The So you had only had, so what, A&M, Tennessee, and us are the only
to get out the
first
first round,
round wins. Yeah, I am. I actually
yeah,
saw that. I did have Colorado over Florida.
dude, I
Had
didn't.
to.
Then I
I had them.
had
Well, after it was before. If you had asked me before the SEC tournament, I actually would have probably had Florida making like an Elite 8 run or something. But that
mhm.
injury to their big man,
Yeah, I still
Just
thought
looking
that
at what,
they.
yeah, I just, well, the reason I did it because it might have been if they got that other, if it was a Colorado State Virginia playing winner against them, I probably still would have had Florida because, ooh, you talk about an ugly game to watch. Oh, man. That
That was
first four game between Virginia and Colorado State. Ooh. Um, but the
oh
way I started reading up on Colorado, researching in their game, I was like, oh man, I think they could beat Florida. And sure enough, um,
yeah. I had
yeah,
Florida making a run. I actually had Florida winning that game and then beating. I had Florida going to the Sweet 16. Honestly, yeah. Maybe a little SEC homer stuff. I don't know what I've watched the most stuff. I should after the injury. You're right. It probably should have went the other way, but I still thought they had some horses, some people that could carry them. But and here we are, and let's say them they're trying, but yeah, it's looking like only Alabama and Tennessee will be in the Sweet 16 out of
in
the
the second
SEC.
weekend.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they just A&M just doesn't have the horses right now.
Uh,
Um, and you got San Diego State's up 24 on Yale at halftime. So,
yeah, I think
uh,
that's
yeah, Yale doesn't quite have that kind of game to make that big comeback, and San Diego State's just such a tough defensive team.
And that's the thing about those teams like a Yale or they're the one usually they like they kept right with Auburn the whole time. So you felt
Mm-hmm.
but once they get down, I mean it's tough for them to hit that comeback. They don't have the person who can drop 10, 12 straight points.
Mm-hmm.
you know, so they have to build that, keep it close. Because I mean, that's the one thing, the beauty of the NCAA tournament. The lower seed, no matter where they're at, unless they're playing in someone's backyard. I mean, the crowd's gonna start going for them, and then that really helped Yale on this past in round one against Auburn. I mean, the crowd was definitely pro Yale. I mean, uh, even though their band wasn't there, the other team's band played their fight song and stuff, so that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um,
Um, yeah, you got elsewhere. It looks like um, FAU's coach is going to take over at Michigan after uh,
and,
Juwan Howard's departure. Drake's coach is taking over at West Virginia.
I don't. know. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a job that I will move for. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that was something for a long time. Of course, Bob Huggins had that job forever, and then uh, with the football program too, Dana Holgerson mentioned it some. That's why he left for Houston. But like, they don't really invest in their facilities there, and that's a big thing in today's athletic world, the college game.
Yeah, you have to
Um,
think their NIL money probably not the best. I mean,
no, and it's a shame because they do have a proud tradition of some sports. Football's a solid program. I think
that's what had
what
some run.
what was Hornswoggle? No,
It's Swaggle.
Pitswoggle. Something. What was it? Yeah,
It's
that
Pittsnoggle. Kevin
something
Pittsnoggle.
like that. Yeah, that
And
a big dude is like shooting threes on everybody's head. Um,
yeah, had a
but they've had
while.
some. Yeah,
Yeah, they've had some good teams. But Bob Huggins, when he got the DUI right before, was that right before the season or?
something like that. I can't remember now, but
Man. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, the Drake coach has had some success there at Drake. I mean, he had them, you know, able to win the Missouri Valley, able to beat Indiana State. It was a story of the season there. Able to do that, very well could have probably should have beat Washington State in round one, and who knows what would have happened. In the Battle of Iowa would have been Drake versus Iowa State, and would have been a crazy atmosphere. A lot of people from Des Moines would have came down to Omaha, so about a couple hours. So, but I don't know if I would have given that up to go to West Virginia because I mean I think you can make a tournament run. I think easier out of the state of West Virginia. Excuse me, out of Drake than West Virginia, especially man the Big 12. That's a conference. That's a monster.
That's what I was gonna say, and it's gonna get a little harder next year with Arizona coming in, a Colorado program on the rise coming in.
Utah's had some okay teams at times.
Yeah.
You lose Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, two
Oh.
solid programs, but I mean, you replace them with even better. I mean, Arizona. I mean, elite. I mean, the Big 12 has to me been the best conference in ball, and true A&M's cutting it, got it down to 3 with 41 seconds,
I saw that. Yeah. Making
uh,
it interesting. Um, yeah,
but
that would. I think this, if they complete this comeback, that would
yeah,
bust a lot of brackets.
that would. Uh, but the Big 12, I think that was the best spot. Honestly, been one of the better basketball conferences the last couple of years,
Hmm.
top to bottom. I mean, and it's only going to get better, better going forward. Just with who they're adding, because I mean, even and that's one of those conferences that even the bottom of the barrel teams are going to give you a fight.
Hmm.
you play, this year Oklahoma State wasn't good, but I mean they're going to give you a game, especially in Stillwater. I mean, so there's no easy night in the Big 12 at all.
Mm-mm.
If I'm the Drake coach, I don't know. I know they probably give a little bit more money and just prestige, I guess, moving up, but I don't know if that's a job I take. But I don't know his situation or if he was just ready for something else. But I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that's about all we can say on the tournament so far. Like we said, we're just looking forward to next weekend. Looking forward to Thursday if you're a Bama fan. But elsewhere in the world of sports, real quick before we get going on, trying to see what else. What were some big? It's been a week, so any big
Uh,
stories
the,
this week that I
the
can't
big
think of?
the Caden Proctor coming back to Alabama.
No, yeah, that's what we want to talk about. So yeah, after everyone gave Nick Saban so much shit for his A&M.
Oh wow!
Oh, A&M missing opportunities and get well. Now you got to shoot a three though,
Oh
under 10 seconds. Ooh, they'll
jeez!
have yeah, A&M tried to got the played
Wow!
defense, got the ball down there, missed two layups.
Wow!
They went for the quick two, down three, and missed one layup. There it is. Got the offensive rebound and
Wait
missed it
with a
up.
fourth. He usually doesn't miss those.
But he
Ah, Lee. They get one
got
more chance,
lucky. Well,
one
there
more
were, of course,
opportunity.
official review here to make sure that the ball did indeed go off a Houston player last.
I
It
mean,
did. Yeah, not even close. So what, 9 point something seconds left. A&M will have a chance to tie it.
man.
Yeah, that Caden Proctor thing. So after everyone gave Nick Saban shit, and he talks about he's in favor of players getting the split of revenue, but the NIL and transfer portal needs to be better regulated.
I
Caden
mean,
Proctor transfers from Bama back to his home state of Iowa,
hmm
collects NIL money, and then
yeah.
announces he will transfer back to Alabama and gets to keep the NIL money.
Wow.
Um, I do feel a
Wow.
little bit bad for Iowa. Of course, I will welcome him back. That's a great addition to our offensive line.
Yeah.
Um, and he's
I
only going to
mean,
get better.
I mean, but it's just crazy. I mean, I mean, and the thing is this is only going to keep happening at play.
Yep.
And what and I mean, other than the coach saying they don't want him back, which I mean, eventually probably is going to happen. But you have to think too, these people that are giving the NIL money, eventually it's going to be some consequences. Because I
Yeah.
don't, no matter how rich somebody is, if they give you X amount of cash and they don't see any, not even any type of return on it.
Hmm.
I mean, this man literally was in Iowa for less than 2 months and he's already out again. You have to
Hmm.
think like someone's pissed.
Yeah.
And these
Um.
people didn't get super rich by bad investments. So, you know, like, man, it's just crazy world we're living in. But I mean, and it's only going to happen more and more. Like people are going to be like, well, maybe I did make a mistake, or it should be interesting just to see, to other, you know. I mean, it seems like Caden Proctor's in a good spot because I mean, I guess he spent spring break with a lot of Alabama players, and maybe that's what. So I mean, he's obviously welcome back, but at some point it's gonna be someone that's gonna be like, dude, no, if not as a popular guy or I don't know. It's a weird spot we're in right now.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Not
it's
not not
it's.
everything's gonna be as smooth as this one went.
Mm-mm.
Especially if it comes, especially when it comes to in conference stuff. Man, can you imagine someone, going to Alabama and then transferring to Auburn and then saying, "Oh, I'm going back to Alabama." Whew.
Yeah. Well, here goes A&M. 10.1 seconds on the clock now. Oh, why that you didn't have to take that three. And two horrible shots thrown up by the A&M guy.
Oh wow. I
Oh,
mean,
who that?
that's the guy you want shooting it, but damn, horrible.
It is a guy who won't taking a shot, but he took a shot from the logo with like 7 seconds left,
Oh wow. Now they got 1 second.
and then
Well,
took another one and off balance.
I
And
don't
then they
know.
caught a jump ball here on the rebound, but possession is with A&M still, so they'll have 1.2 seconds. It says. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that was not a like you said. It's a guy you want, but that was not the shot he needed.
And he has. I mean, that's one thing Houston has really made him look regular today. I mean,
Hmm.
he had an epic SEC tournament and he had an epic game against Nebraska. He's probably had his worst game as of recent. Uh, I guess that first one not a bad shot, but you have way more time.
Yeah,
Second one, though,
he could have had to. Yeah, he had a guy out there trying to set him a pick. He could have got a better look, or maybe even made a
damn,
pass to an open teammate if he had it.
shot
But
itself though all looked like it was going down for that second view. It's like wow,
mm.
but
Oh yeah, that behind the play
yeah,
view they just showed. Yeah, it was online. It's just too strong.
the second one,
Um,
you're like,
yeah, second one he was trying to draw a foul or something.
oof.
Uh,
They've done a heck of a job coming back. maybe maybe it's the taking on sports jinx. I said once when Houston's up nine with
yeah.
four, they're
Well,
not a team that usually gives up. Oh man.
oh man, yeah, right. The jinx returns.
Oh man.
Um, but yeah, here let's see here now as we will give you live play by play that you will listen to tomorrow. Um, I see. Yeah, they got the inbound under the basket here. Let's see what type of play they draw up. Oh, they got a guy wide open shot. Good. Oh man,
Amazing.
the buzzer
Oh,
beater
the
to tie it
buzzer
and
beater.
send it to overtime. Oh man,
Wow. What a wow. Phenomenal.
wow, wow, indeed.
You couldn't ask for a more wide open shot at the top
Hmm.
of the key.
Yep, Houston took away the guy. They took away Taylor, and good job by the inbound man to find that open guy.
And now it's a whole new ball game.
Hmm.
Free basketball to go to the Sweet 16. Wow. That's epic. And you talking about further crumpling up brackets if this happens.
Hmm. Oh,
He
what a
got
pass. Yeah, that view just there behind the play view again showed it. Good pass.
just like behind there. Guy late getting to him, falling down, bang. Golly,
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah, okay. Real quick, elsewhere in sports, I don't. Let's see. NFL free agency. We talked about all the big deals last week.
Yeah.
Um, Chase Young this week went to the Saints. Um, Bears. No, we talked about the Justin Fields trade last week.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that was about the only notable move this week, really.
There's been a
Um,
lot of smaller things going on. Nothing.
yeah, nothing huge.
Uh,
Um, I don't know if we mentioned it, if it happened last week or if we just didn't mention it, but Deontay Johnson going getting traded to the Panthers. It's good for
yeah.
our boy Bryce
He needs
Young.
all the help he can get.
Hmm. So yeah.
We'll see what they do with their offensive line pickups. But man,
Hmm.
I just hate the Bryce is there just because I mean the owner is trash. like like
Trash
my
owner. Yeah.
I
And
just
I
don't.
hate it because it feeds in and everyone's like, oh, they made a mistake. CJ Stroud was a guy. And look, maybe that down the road, yeah, CJ, but it's
Yeah.
one
No,
year.
but this is not.
And
And where Carolina is at wouldn't have been good for any.
no, CJ Stroud would have got pounded just as much. He would, because he had no protection on the line, no
Not at
help,
all.
no weapons. I mean, their lead back was who? Chuba Hubbard,
Yeah.
a decent back, but not a guy that's going to help out a rookie quarterback a lot. Um,
No. I mean, CJ's lucky where he ended up because I mean they
hmm.
obviously been building for this moment. They knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Hmm.
They have the right people in place and upper management. Coaching situation is beautiful. I
Hmm.
mean, they have everything going for them. I mean, on the
Hmm.
other end, I mean, we had what Carolina. I mean, they hired a coach who just got fired just like a week or two before. Like that didn't work out at all. So I mean, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I would have to think it's just that's a tough out. You hate it for Bryce, but we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully, they put some people around him. At least keep him upright, give him opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah, but elsewhere in the world of sports, another crazy story this week out of baseball. Shohei Otani's
Uh,
interpreter stealing a bunch of money for him because he's a bad gambler.
a horrible gambler.
Yeah, horrible. Like losing millions of dollars, horrible. So
You want
that's
to know, like, did he know? Because I mean, at first it seemed like he knew, but then they came back and made it seem like he didn't know anything about it. And I mean, it's like yikes,
yeah,
not
it's
a weird situation.
a very weird situation there. And as spring training winds down, they did have the technically the first
First
series
game,
of the year, yeah, in Korea. It's
they
a weird thing they've done a couple times the past few years, having it out on the other side of the world, and I'm
Padres
all
and Dodgers
for it.
went
Yeah,
to Korea.
Padres. Yeah, they split two games. I'm
That's
all for it.
funny.
You know, expanding your brain. You know, a brand, and wanting to get a global fandom, but you can still play the games here, and like it takes away from opening day. You know, like have that the great thing about Major League Baseball
They,
opening day used to be like everyone played, that
yeah,
first day. Um,
yeah, and yeah, I mean, you already have teams at 1-1. It's weird. I mean, you can have an international game throughout the season. I mean, it's a way to correlate that. I mean,
mhm,
maybe you have that right after the All Star break or something. Um, uh, I don't know, but I don't know. It's weird. And then you're also going to a spot where, I mean, baseball is pretty alive. I mean, it's not like they're looking. I mean, Asian countries love baseball. I mean, Korea has a strong baseball. I mean, I don't know.
but yeah, just a weird story there. And NBA, not much going on this week. Looks like, let's see, the Pelicans will be without Brandon Ingram for a couple weeks, but they keep winning.
Dude,
Versus the West.
whole the whole West is winning right now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Not 8, but I mean, right now it seems like everybody's like on a 7-3 or 8-2 run in their last 10, which
hmm
doesn't help trying to move up. Maybe trying to get into the all coveted top 6. Um,
No, yeah, I mean, and you're right. If you look at everyone in the play in and the playoff, the top 10
Everybody
spots
went
right
in.
now, everyone. Let's see, only the Thunder, Clippers, and Warriors are on losing streaks, and they're not even streaks. The Thunder and Clippers just lost their last game, and
Yeah,
the Warriors have lost back to back. Everyone else has at least won
that's
their
10.
last game. Yeah, if you
Have
look at
like
the last 10, the Clippers are 5-5, and the Warriors are 4-6. Other than that, everyone a winning record in their last 10.
7-3, 8-2. I'm like, come on, man. It's
hmm
so hard to gain any ground right now because everybody's winning. Um,
hmm Yeah,
but
it's tough. It's fun though, fun time. But
yeah,
nothing really major
no,
happened
not
this week. But
nothing.
yeah, I
Getting to
think
that point,
that's.
it matters though because
hmm
they say, man, one day you're in that West. You go on a streak one way or the other, and you can jump 3 or 4 real
hmm
quick. You go down 3 or 4 real quick, and go from a home first round playoff matchup to a playing
One
game.
game, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
But
once the NCAA, once the Final Four is over, baseball gets a little shine with opening day. The Masters get their little shine, but then after that, all eyes on the NBA for that stretch run to the playoffs and then the playoffs. Um, but yeah, I think that probably it for the world of sports. Let's see, U.S. Soccer won the Nations League tonight, beating Mexico.
uh,
Another Dos Acero win.
no,
Um, other than that, though, just not much.
you
Where we
know,
are, it's March Madness.
yeah,
That's why all but the last couple minutes here of this show are about it.
yeah, I mean, just where we're at. I mean, and honestly, I mean, probably, I I would say that at least my favorite way to crown the champion is March Madness. I mean, I don't.
hmm
I know other people say the NFL playoffs, and I don't know. It's just something I guess just so special about March Madness because I mean it's just the craziness of it,
hmm
um, and we don't always, the champion is on national always your best team, but I mean how you do it. I mean you got to win the 6 games. I mean
hmm
no buys, no special outs. I mean so
Yeah. Houston taking over in overtime right now. They just got mad that they had to play the extra 5 minutes. Apparently. Um, no, I agree. Yeah. All the conference winners get in.
yeah.
And then you still have your at larges. You have, it's a setup that, um, some people are like, oh, well, it's just about the hottest team, not necessarily the best. Well, I mean, that's all playoffs.
I
That's
mean that's all.
that's how American sports are. They have the playoffs. If you want,
I
yeah,
mean honestly, outside of this little Chiefs run of the play, plenty of times when the team
hmm
wasn't the best team in the recent history in the NFL has won the Super Bowl. I mean, you
hmm
look at yeah, I mean that has happened plenty. I mean the NBA is probably the least likely because I mean you have to win multiple games, but
hmm
in a one game situation, yeah, of course it's gonna be who the hottest team or it's all dependent upon matchups as well. I mean, a great team may have a horrible matchup against somebody. You don't know if you're gonna get that until the other team wins as well. So
hmm
it's all about matchup.
But when you also think about it, though, part of being the best team is getting hot at the right time, and you have to do your job and get to the tournament, and then you have to win all your games. And
Yeah.
I think we talked about it last week with some numbers by seeds. What the lowest seed to ever win a title was 8 seed Villanova in 85 run, right? And even then, they were from the vaunted Big East. That was like the heyday of the Big East. Um,
One way they was.
so
I mean, what is it? The wild. mean, the wildest. I mean, I guess if if Butler had beaten Duke in 2010, that three had gone down. That
Oh
the
yeah, that half court shot. Yeah.
pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the champions is usually nobody super crazy. I mean, even when they've gone crazy runs, for example, like in 2011 when UConn went on a run, or even 2014 when UConn went on a run, no one
Mhm.
expects UConn to win the title, but it's still UConn,
Yeah.
right?
Man,
We've had,
Houston just making the tough shots.
man, big bucket there. But yeah, I mean, you get your. I mean, last year was probably the craziest Final Four we'll ever see. I mean, you
Hmm.
gotta look at you have FAU, Miami, and San Diego State. I mean, what? That is the launch of the UConn program, but I mean, just to think that that's three of your four final teams. I mean, who would have ever thought that was a possibility in any time?
Hmm.
And then,
Yeah, and it was the first time ever there was a Final Four with no one seeds, right?
yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that'll do it for us. I think. Looks like Houston might actually pull it out this time. I'm good, Greg. I'm gonna assume something here, but I'm gonna think I speak for both of us when I say done up real good this week is March Madness.
Whew, that it is,
Yeah, it's the first weekend especially. It's always great.
man.
Just
That,
watching your bracket fall apart, but kind of rooting for it at the same time because you're getting
yeah,
the upsets and all
kind
that.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, it's weird. You want to win the bracket, but hey, you don't mind it necessarily.
yeah. But
uh,
yeah, it's a great time, and now we move into the second weekend where the stakes get really high and really tense.
mhm.
You never want to lose, but if I think if it's a weird thing we talk about like expectations for like Alabama, we wanted to make the second weekend, but you'd also almost rather lose the first weekend instead of getting to that Sweet 16 and being that close to the Final Four. And
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I
it's
mean,
one of those. Yeah,
yeah, it's one of those weird things, but yeah, I mean, every time I'm gonna take the Sweet 16 appearance.
yeah.
You gotta
But
think we had 3 or 4 years in the Sweet 16 for Alabama. I mean, that's
mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's what we should be doing. But let's go ahead and get out of here, folks. Let's look ahead to Thursday. Like we said, Alabama trying to take down the mighty Tar Heels, champs from 2 years ago. Um, we'll be rooting for them. But thanks again for listening, folks. Do subscribe, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Give us good ratings. Tell your friends, tell your rich friends, tell your Auburn friends. Haha. Uh, um, check out, of course, everything on the Alabama Take family of podcasts. Check out the alabamatake.com. And I hope your bracket's not too busted out there, y'all. Um, I'm going to keep it done up real good yourselves out there. Greg, buddy, I'll see you next week.
Sir.